Hello, Namaste, Sasikal. Good evening. Welcome to the S.S. Chandhok talk show. I'm your host and moderator, S.S. Chandhok. I'm very happy today because we are going to talk about a very interesting topic which I was looking for many days. Topic is career after school. First of all, the eminent guest present over here today is Dr. Himani Tyagi ma'am. She is the principal of a very prestigious institution in Noida Extension, that is the Millennium School. First of all, thank you so much, Himani ma'am, for joining us again. It's always a pleasure to have. I mean, today it is just like feeling that we are having a reunion because all the principals present over today are almost all my favorite, and we have come together in the show after many days. So, Rakesh sir, we are joining after maybe 6 months or 9 months or 1 year, and it's happy to see Himani ma'am. Welcome once again. Thank you so much. Being having so much busy schedule, all of us, we are sailing in the same boat with the exams and correction everything, and you have joined. Why? Because you people have the urge to your opinion also on the different topics which are related to education. Thank you, ma'am, once again. And ma'am, we don't know about you, but still, we will like to know something about your education journey, ma'am, from a teacher to a senior principal.
Thank you, Chandok sir. It's pleasure is all mine. Thank you for having me over to your show. Well, to introduce myself, I have been in the space of education for good 20 years. Did my PhD from Delhi University in molecular biology and started my teaching career in the University of Sciences in Philadelphia. Taught biology, but my heart lied in the school education. So I returned back to India and joined DLF Public School, where I functioned in different capacities. I was a teacher, I was then a senior coordinator, and then I proceeded to become the head of academics and professional development in that school, then functioned as vice principal with the Khaitan group. And finally, I am here as the principal. It has been a very fulfilling and a very happening journey all along, and I am still learning. So thank you for having me over once again, and very good evening to all those watching us today and all the esteemed educators on the panel.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Pleasure is ours. And thank you once again for joining the show. The next eminent guest present over here today is Dr. Bhavna Kulshresht, ma'am. She is the principal of a very prestigious and a branded, chain of schools, that is MIT International School. Our school is in Sector 1, Vasundhara, Ghaziabad. Welcome, Bhavna ma'am, first of all, for joining us the show again for our busy schedule. It's always a pleasure having you over here. Ma'am, in precise, we'll also like to know something about you, ma'am. Educational journey, yeah. Ma'am, you're on mute.
Namaskar, and thank you for having me here. And it's always a pleasure interacting with learned colleagues like we have here in the panel. I have 30 years in the education field, and growing up, I never thought I'm going to be a teacher. I would be a school principal, never. But early on, I realized that teaching is something that comes naturally to me. Teaching is something that was being forced on me. When I was doing my graduation, my subjects were history, English literature, and economics. But my brother used to make me teach him physics. I was a student of history and economics, and I was teaching him physics. Why? Because he felt I could explain it to him better than his physics teacher. So it was then I realized that it comes naturally to me. And many a times I realized people wanted me to teach it to them, explain it to them. And then it just happened, accidental principle, that I've been here in this field, loving it thoroughly. And I think this is where I'm going to be, I'm going to have the best of my life here.
Bhavna ma'am, you still
I can't, it's only me, but I can't hear sir clearly.
Said it's a compliment that doesn't looks that you're, you from 30 years, it looks like in the industry from last 10 years only. That's a compliment, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Uh, Next, we have Deepika Sharma, ma'am. She is principal of a very prestigious institution in Faridabad, that is Grand Columbus International School. Thank you, Deepika, ma'am, first of all, for coming up to the show once again. It's really a here like to know about your educated journey, ma'am.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone, once again. Love to be here. So I'm sure there'll be something which I would learn and carry with me today in the evening. So again, I am here from last 3 decades in this education industry. I call it industry because it's got so many aspects into it now. We're also now, we see Mr. Rakesh Singh, who's a part of the university, and suddenly, it's not like we are sort of so correlated at this point of time. And I'm glad I'm an educationist and an educator because I feel that these are very exciting times to live and be an educator. So many changes are happening, which were very required. As far as my journey is concerned, I have born and brought up in New Delhi. After being educated there, I was into a French multinational because, like Dr. Bhavna, I felt that it's not too glamorous to be a teacher. That's not how we think, and then that's how we'll come back to today's topic as well. So I thought working in a French multinational was more glamorous till I got married here. I came here, and the only place for me where I thought I could express myself was a school, and incidentally, I became an educator, and I loved it. I worked as a teacher, a house mistress, a vice principal, and then a principal from last 14 years. I love every part of it. I think what keeps me going is the energy at school, which of course comes from our learners. And I am also vice president Sahoday Faridabad chapter. We have almost 65 schools here, and I love doing what I do there, is that's training the trainers, because that's something very close to my heart. I feel we need to update ourselves. We need to ensure that the whatever changes are happening are reaching at least the maximum schools that we can do individually. So like I said, I incidentally got into it, but I have loved it. And I feel these changes which are coming in are much required. And in fact, I'm going to hold a career counseling session for class 10. Today was the last board exam. So we're going to hold a session on Saturday just for career counseling, though they've already opted for the streams they want in class 11th. But it keeps happening that till July they keep wanting to change their streams. So I wanted to put it to rest. So thank you, Mr. Chandhok, for having me here. And I think it's a very relevant topic that you picked up today.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Actually, it's a great topic because so many students and parents, they get confused about their career, what they should opt for, and that's a pressure only. We'll discuss about that. Thank you once again, Deepika, ma'am. It's a pleasure having you on the show all the time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have my favorite, very favorite, one of my one favorite principal, that is Aditi Basu Roy, ma'am. She is the principal of a very prestigious institution in Greater Noida, that is International School. Welcome, ma'am. At least this topic, see, when we had a word last, you said that topic is not, good for you, but still, I just found out that some topic should be there where I can call ma'am for sure. Welcome, ma'am. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you
Please
so
let us
much. It
know
is
this.
always an honor. It's always an honor and to be associated and a good friend like you, educationist, and who is into so many things and really care for the a consortium of thoughts for the educationist, that is Chandhok sir. And so definitely I'm very happy to be here. And I think I'm the oldest here as my white whiskers, white hair shows. And so,
Ma'am, I'll interrupt.
hello. So I have started my
We
journey.
will,
Yes, sir.
we are between 3 to 18. We will never go above 18.
Yes,
Go
I'm
all
the
the way.
16.
Oh, Rakesh sir is there. We all are below 18, ma'am. Make it sure.
Great. I started my journey with Kendriya Vidyalaya. It's one of the brands in the world as a TGT Science. And then, as my husband was in the public sector in government official, so and when he was transferred, so I naturally, like a monkey on the ladder, I changed my profile and I started monkey on the ladder, coming down and up, going up. So then after that, I joined DAV Public School. Then after that, I was in Bihar. So then after Madhya Pradesh, from Bihar, then I came to Uttar Pradesh, Noida. There I joined the school. Yes, Bhavna ma'am's previous school, Vishwabharati. So I've joined Vishwabharati and worked there in Vishwabharati. And from Vishwabharati, I joined Amity International, Sector 44, Noida. From there, I became I joined Sardar Patel, and then from there, I became the principal of Graz International School. So it's a long journey. In between, I worked as resource person for IIT Delhi, University of Delhi, training them for e-cognitive project, all the college professors and lecturers for e-education. So then after that, I worked for some projects of IIM Rohtak, and also CACA, that child helpline number for the protection of children against sexual abuse and safety of children. I work there. So I have an NGO called Abha Mission for Social Health and Education. I'm the assistant secretary for there. And I'm the president of All India Principals Association, Greater Noida chapter, Noida chapter, and the Gautam Buddha Nagar chapter, district president. So I'm there. So I'm working in that sector also. But the remarkable journey of my life was that in 1914 or 13, I think 13, 14, or maybe 12 also. So I've just forgotten now. So I have done a course on online teaching and blended learning. It was a 6 months course from University of California. And then I tried it in my school. And then it was such a long process and nobody appreciated that it is such a hi-fi thing and nobody, when is it going to happen? India will never adopt to it. India will online teaching, blended learning. These are all new. And then also this kind of thing, this is not going to happen in India. So this is for Americans, this is for outside people. So I tried and made my lesson plan, online lesson plan, blended learning lesson plan. And I tried my favorite teaching method is what do you call the flip learning, flip classroom. So that's my favorite teaching method. So I tried flip classroom. I made a lesson plan and did with class 9 experimentation that took 3 more periods. And then my director said, no, you're not going to try it because it takes time and most of the student and parents are not agreeing to have it. So then I dropped it and said, forget it. It's okay, someday I'll start my channel like you and do the online teaching. And like Khan Academy, I'll start mine. Then suddenly in 2020, this lockdown happened. And within a week, I trained all my teachers in online teaching. We started, lockdown happened and we started our school in 1st of April. No school started then on online mode. And then before that, we had market research on how many students are there, each class, how to share the materials like gadget sharing, how to do it, how to plan the timetable. We had done. I've got I'm blessed with very good team and a very good vice principal. So we did all this research, and within a week we trained all teachers and we started school. And then suddenly I became very wanted. And then Krishna Engineering College and Greater Noida, many engineering colleges, management colleges, they started, please have it for our teachers and please train them for online teaching and blended learning, flipped classroom then. And then
Absolutely.
now everybody knows. Everyone knows what is blended learning, what is flipped classroom, what is online teaching, and how to use MOOC, how to use, and India government came up after that with all those MOOC and MOOCs. So online teaching, massive open online teaching and massive open online training, those things, courses, India government came up after that. In 2015, this NCRT channels, they started working. So then we all became, but that was a really, so as Rabindranath Tagore says, anything learned, any learning, what happens in your life, never go waste.
Never
So
go waste. Absolutely right.
anything we learn from each other, anything we learn on the way of our journey in the way is never wasted. There's always a use of it. So look forward to use it. And that is, I really appreciate that we don't know when is our learning, what we think is not useful now, may be used tomorrow. That is the thing, best
Absolutely
thing
right,
I've learned
ma'am.
my time.
Absolutely right, ma'am. And this was the only positivity about the pandemic, that the technology came before and it had to come after 8 or 10 years. Thank you so much and welcome once again, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Next we have Shalu Babbar, ma'am. She is the principal of a very prestigious institution in Gurgaon, that is GD Goenka High School. Thank you and welcome, Shalu, ma'am. It's a pleasure to have you on the show, ma'am. In precise, also, we'd like to know your educational journey, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chandhok, and I'm privileged to be a part of this lovely gathering. And I'm sure, like one of you said, that by the end of the journey, I will be taking home some very, very good, valid learning points, which perhaps my students and teachers can benefit. So a brief glimpse of my learning curve. Currently, I'm heading GD Goenka High School. It is a flagship school of the GD Goenka fraternity. We are based at Sohna Road. So if any one of you have visited the GD Goenka University, my school is inside the same premise. And it's a very beautiful location, very green, away from city noise and pollution. And we can very proudly say that we are a sustainable school because we have so many ventures which are in the school premise catering to sustainable development. Before this, I've had some association with different schools in different parts of the country. I've had the privilege of working in Maharashtra, Rajasthan, J&K, and Delhi NCR. So wherever I have gone, whichever state I have worked with, I think my students have taught me some very amazing lessons of life. And every day is a new day at school because children come with so many experiences and so many beautiful questions that sometimes leave us all spellbound and, awestruck. So teaching is a very interesting profession where you can never say that I know. Everything that we do is teaching us some new skills and making us a better human being. So I really enjoy my profession. I've been associated with different schools for more than 25 years now. And I have worked as a teacher and now working in the capacity of an administrator. So seen what happens this side and that side of the table. So while giving interviews, we feel nervous and we feel that what questions will be asked. And same happens while we take interviews. Sometimes we fall short of interesting, challenging questions. So this time is a very, very challenging time because recruitments are on, admissions are on, examinations are on. We are planning for the new academic session. So right now also I got a little delayed as there was a very important management meeting and I had to be a part of it. So thank you once again, everyone, for including me in this discussion. And I hope that I can contribute of whatever little I know.
Thank you so much, ma'am, and welcome once again. Next, we have today Mr. Rakesh Singh, sir. Sir is the Vice President and Head Corporate and Alumni Relations, Bennett University. First of all, Rakesh, sir, thank you so much for joining us and pleasure to have you on the show. And thank you also for out of your busy schedule looking after the university, the things related to the university. we sometimes have counseling and guidance, or what should be the the right choice that children should make. Thank you so much, Rakesh sir, once again. And because you have come to the show for the very first time, we would like to know about your journey also as an educationist, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chandhok, for having me here on this panel. I'm so glad that I'm part of this August gathering today. And my professional journey is divided into two parts. It's been around 25 years since I've started my professional journey. The first part, which is almost half of my professional journey, was into corporates. I've done double masters before starting my career. I have done MSc in chemistry, and then I did MBA. But all this while I was planning to go into armed forces, but despite of appearing several times for CDS examination, clearing it also, couldn't clear the SSB, and eventually then my father pushed me to do MBA, and MBA was an accident which happened. I never wanted to do it, but nevertheless I started my career with a very large corporate, Larsen and Toubro, and I was a sales engineer there, and then I worked with paint industry, and significant part of my career has been into BFSI sector, where I work with organizations like ICICI. I work with Bharti AXA. And while I was working with Bharti AXA, I was stationed at Noida, and I was taking care of the entire Western UP operations, managing a large team of around 150 direct people reporting into me, and a feet on street of around 5,000 people. So I was very frequent in visiting nearby universities like Amity, ILM, and they used to invite me for guest lecture. And it kind of pulled me. The education pulled me, and in my later part, I decided that I want to really contribute back to the academics, to having a large experience. And then the education profession started with ILM. And I was always into early talent management. I worked with Amity University, Ansel. I was director marketing and corporate relations for both the university. And now I'm associated with Bennett for almost now more than 5 years. I take care of, again, multiple functions. I take care of industry engagement, industry collaborations, managing placements for the students. I take care of all the training requirements of students, whether it is the hard skills or the soft skills. And I also take care of alumni affairs. So overall outcome responsibility for the university rests with me. So this is brief about, my journey, starting from beginning. And
I think it is about, the challenges that students face while selecting the right career for them, and what is the role of peer pressure. And, in general, that is what the question is all about. So I think the first challenge is the limited awareness. In spite of all the information and in spite of all the technology around us, still many children are not aware, not many parents are aware that what all options exist for them. So I think, again, as schools, we have a very important role that we can play here by organizing career fairs and by exposing children to what all different options exist. Because, these days there is so much of conversation around that. There is information everywhere. But as much as we would like to trust that, we also know that there are a lot of kids and a lot of parents who are still not very aware of career options. So that is one thing, that is lack of exposure and awareness. And that is where schools and colleges come in and their important role comes in. Then, especially in our Indian society, I think the second thing is parental expectations. So we have these stereotypes of good reputed characters like, getting into IITs and IIMs and, becoming doctors and engineers and scientists. Although we have been able to come out of the shackles of these stereotypes to a very good extent, but I still believe that our parents are still, to a large extent, have that notion that go to the field which is secure, right? Which will be financially lucrative for the children. So I think, again, there is some amount of parental insecurity that is responsible for wrong choices, if at all children make. Then again, there are a lot of beautiful careers which have a lot of social stigma, and being principals and counselors, I think we all know that sometimes children want to go for unconventional choices, such as, I remember one of my very, very charismatic 12th grader wanted to be a DJ. And the amount of resistance that kid faced at home was unbelievable. Everybody in the family, right from grandfather to his uncles to his mothers, everybody met me in that regard. They just wanted me to convince the child that being DJ is not a good career choice. So I think a lot of social stigma attached to certain careers, increasing children's self-awareness, again, because we grow up believing certain things depending on what family we come from. So aptitude tests, the assessments, teachers being good observers and suggesting children the right path, I think all of those are very, very important for children to be able to make the right choice. And then again, as a society, I think we have to talk about these things. A lot of sessions that need to happen in the schools that must talk about the importance of diversity in careers. We are not all talking about diversity and equity, but when it actually comes to our children, we all, parents and teachers alike, want to play it safe. There are still schools who would put hoardings outside their school boasting about how many IIT selections, how many medicine selections, when not many schools talked about how many children made it to NIFT, or how many children have become choreographers, or how many children have become actors. So we still don't talk about that. So I think we also have to reflect as schools and institutions that are affecting the society. And all of that, I think, have a major, major role. All of that is a food for thought for all of us. Thank you.
So my question was, there was a lot of confusion among the students for selecting their career. Comment on that. As Himani ma'am has already spoken so well. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Himani ma'am has spoken so well about the stigmas associated, and she has also spoken about the peer pressure and parental pressure, how they are really misleading students, and misguiding student, and not being students, and not being able to take up their heart's content, and they're not the path they want to, and capacity that they have on the basis of that. So, and the National Education Policy, NEP 2020, speaks about a paradigm shift. So here this will take time to shift, make the shift happen. And but this is happening, I can see. Rakesh sir said a very nice word. I'm be quoting that in my future. Please allow me that: early talent identification and management. Okay, I'll be quoting that in my future. And yes, please allow me to quote you. So this is very important, that how the schools do it, that capacity, that IEP, the individual potential IPs. So that we schools need to identify and counsel parents, counsel the child about that. And also, what is the child want? Maybe he's misled. He doesn't want mathematics, but he's not good at mathematics and he's not good at listening. But the parents are hammering into his head that you have to do engineering, maybe from any ABCD XYZ university, but you have to do an engineering course. And after that, they are not that. I'll tell you my real example. My daughter wanted to do journalism. So we saw the Delhi University has a journalism graduation into BA journalism. So, and she was she good writer, and she wanted to become a journalist. And some subjects she wanted to take, which mother and father doesn't know. So that was one subject she selected. Journalism is something that mother and father cannot poke their nose into it. And so we thought, okay, we did not survey. See, but we being, I'm into education. My husband is educated one. After that, we did not make enough research, and we got her admitted in Delhi University in journalism. But Unfortunately, Delhi University doesn't have master's program in journalism. So then she had changed. By that time, she was a film buff, and she wanted to change into film studies. She Ambedkar University, she studied Delhi Ambedkar, she film studies, she studied. But see, we did not know that there was no master's course in Delhi University. So these knowledge makes it huge, as ma'am also said, Himani ma'am said, that these knowledges and awareness matters. One very important thing that I want to mention is the volitional skill, the skill of making decision, because that is my question. That is a learned behavior also. We don't allow our children to make decisions. I take decision for my child. And that will happen when the child, the son is of Rakesh sir's age. Then also, if the parents are educated parents and very overbearing parents, they'll take decision for him. No, you have to do this for your child. You have to do that for your child. So till the parents are there, till we will be children of the parents. So we are not allowed to take decisions, and children are also not allowed to take their decisions. Mainly, we are taught in that way. That is a society. So this decision-making ability or volitional skill ability is very important. That can be learned and that can be taught. And, in one of the courses and CBSE courses and CBSE training, we have this developing how to develop decision-making skills in adolescents. And that will save them from many peer pressure and many misleading behavior. So that is very important. So they need to say no, as she mentioned the case. They need to, the child need to say that, Papa, I want to do that, please allow me. And it's not that parents are overbearing. That is one thing. And in some cases, the parental experiences, that also matter. So it's a very wide range. We don't know. None of us knew what we are now. Anybody has any idea that what we are doing now we'll be doing 20 years back, 30 years back? I am sure that whether it is Rakesh sir or Bhavda ma'am or Shalu ma'am or anybody, we had no idea what we are going to do in the future. And we have still no idea that what we are going to do in 10 years. Okay, so next 5 years after retirement, what we are going to do? Any idea you have? No, we don't. So that is what I'm saying. Be open to learning. That I've said. 2014, 2013, I learned something which came to use in 2020. So open to learning new things and open to join new courses. Sorry, that's very important. So that is keeping oneself open to new learning and open to going to new avenues, road not taken. And that road not taken can lead you to an eminent point. All right. So that is always, we are in a diversion of road, where we have to decide which road we have to take. And the road we take us to the top forward to our destination. I am not a language or literature teacher, but I taught this to my daughters, so I remember. So that is what every moment we are in diversion, whether this to that. So that is a possibility. We have learned it by our experience, but that can be taught to children. I'm sure that we can teach children to take the right decision for their life, and also parents may help them bringing up. And there are umpteen opportunities for every child. I believe every child has thousands and millions of opportunities. So if one bus is missed, one opportunity is missed, so next bus can be taken, next opportunity is taken. So if you want to become an engineer, or if you want to become, I wanted to become a doctor, so I became a principal. So if you don't become a doctor, you can become a principal. Or if you wanted to be a history teacher, you become a physics teacher. So that can always happen. So always keep yourself open and learn new things. That is exactly, try new things. Okay, that is exactly what I say. Thank you. What I meant to say. Thank you so much.
We'll come up to now Shalu ma'am. Shalu ma'am, we'll come up to your question now. Ma'am, we want to know your views on the saying that parents pay a lot of money for career counseling, but they still do not get the right counseling. What do you say about this?
See, I think first thing we need to understand, what is a career counselor doing? The profile, the role, and the details into which a career counselor goes is not the same way a parent would know his or her child. So first thing that normally a career counselor does is that they find out the skill set of the child basis a database, which they have obviously collected after a lot of research work. And these are now so many assessments available online also, where a child can find out his or her aptitude and attitude and a natural bent of mind towards a particular skill set. Now, after all these stages are cleared, the career counselor basically guides a child to the present job scenario, what is available, which are the present current jobs into which he or she can get into, and perhaps a few prospective job opportunities which can happen, say, 5 years down the line. Also, they will make you aware of different job opportunities in and around the area where they are planning to do. But what they are missing out is, what is the child wanting to do? What is it that the child perhaps has a passion or a desire or a dream to get into? Maybe they miss out on the temperament or the interest, or perhaps like ma'am said that one of the students wanted to become a DJ because maybe the way he could match the music in his head is not how a layman would be able to do. So parents definitely spending a lot of money on career counseling and guidance, but they're not getting the right thing because they're not putting these two aspects together. They are relying on data which is generated by perhaps AI or a machine. But what they are missing out is, what is the child wanting in life to do? So these aspects have to be taken into consideration. One of you rightly said that we don't allow children to make decisions. Of course, they are children. Giving them the decision card is also a little dicey, but yes, their voice should be heard. We should ask them to give their opinion, find out more what exactly is in store as per what they would like to do. And I'm very sure they will come up with so many options that even we have not thought of as a school or as a parent.
Yeah, absolutely right, ma'am. This is also too much needed, that the mixed sort of thing should be there, that the child will also be, given time to express himself what he wants, as well as the senior should counsel him that what will be much appropriate for him or her. Thank you so much, ma'am. We'll come up to Rakesh sir now. Rakesh sir, in the first round, you have heard all the eminent guests. What are the problems and what are the things that children face and their parents also face on their level? So if you want to say anything regarding that, first of all, and then we would like to know that as you visit a lot of schools for giving career counseling sessions to the students, so what type of experience do you gain when you meet these type of students who have curiosity amongst them? Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chandok. I'll echo the same sentiments which Himani ma'am, Shalu ma'am, and Aditi ma'am just mentioned. One thing which I've observed is, by the time we reach out to, especially from the university side, to the schools, it is too late. We generally, see in the schools, there are only 3 streams available. Science par lo, arts par lo, commerce par lo. These are only 3 streams available in the school. But nobody talks about what if somebody wants to do law. What is the career path available in journalism and mass communication? Aditi ma'am was mentioning about journalism and mass communication. You'll be surprised to know in journalism and mass communication program itself, there are 15 career tracks. 15 career tracks. If you look at, curriculums of university, if you look at typical curriculum of our university, there are 6 semesters. Each semester is dedicated to a particular area of journalism. So one semester will take care of radio, the other semester will take care of TV, the next semester may take care of PR and advertising. The subsequent semester may take care of web journalism. There is new media which is emerging these days, and likewise. So the issue which I see is that we need to, have this sensitization process start very early on. It should start somewhere around, the moment the student moves into junior classes, 8th class onwards. What happens is, by the time the student reaches 9th class, he is left with only 3 options: art, science, and commerce. And then you have those limited options. If you have done science, you will go into engineering. And engineering also, you know that there are various streams: mechanical, electrical, electronics, but there are other streams also. Nobody knows about engineering physics. Nobody knows about instrumentation engineering, which are in great demand these years. Nobody wants to go into statistics sites. Nobody's trying to study pure sciences. Why we are lacking in India in research areas? Because nobody wants to study pure science courses, because everybody perceives that if you do a normal science course, you'll end up becoming a teacher, right? And that's also something which people don't prefer, unfortunately. I'm so glad that my daughter wants to become a teacher, and I'm wholeheartedly supporting her. She initially said that I want to teach and I want to come back to my school and teach. So what Shalu ma'am just mentioned, that passion and interest of the student also has to be kept into mind. So generally, students, when we go for counseling, we see that there is a great deal of curiosity about what kind of stream we should pursue, whether we should take science stream or commerce stream or art stream, or for that matter, vocational courses are also now something which people are getting aware of, which is very important. You know, in Western countries, vocational courses are more prominent because they are skill-based courses and they offer immediate, employment opportunities for the students. The other thing is that one of the curiosity is about industry-specific, choices and preferences. People are aware about that. There is healthcare, technology, pharma, etc., and which needs to be, addressed at very early stage so that people are able to make informed choices. So these are certain, observations which I have. The one point which I would like to, say is that sensitization process about choice of stream should start very early. It should start, I think, from as early as 6th class, because those are formative years, and then you start preparing. And the other thing which gets lost is entrepreneurship. The moment students start talking about entrepreneurship, parents say, "Pehle naukri kar lo, fir job kar lena." This is not the way it is going to happen. So early on, the students have to be sensitized about all these things, and then it becomes part of a process, decision-making process. An early decision will help them, form the basis and foundation, and therefore there'll be no hard ones. I get a lot of cases in my university. Recently, there's a tax commissioner. He called up, he reached out to my top boss, he reached out to straightaway MD, and said that मेरी daughter का placement नहीं हुआ है. And fortunately for every student, we keep a particular record of student, how many companies he or she was eligible, how many appeared, what was her performance in various rounds. So I discovered that the student was very brilliant, a 9 CGPA student, throughout 90% 10th graduation. And she has not appeared even in single process. I called her up. I said, your father has called up, and he says that she has not got a job. So what did you tell your parents? She said that, sir, I've told that campus is not giving me a job. I said, why did you do that? She said that I had no options. I want to pursue design course, but my parents are not agreeing to it, and therefore I did not start. So these are certain challenges. Students do not want to pursue a particular course, but as a parent, we force sometime, to make those choices, which, like Himani ma'am mentioned, there's a social stigma, and we get into that, and eventually we end up ruining the careers.
Absolutely right.
My take is start early as possible.
Absolutely right, sir. We should start earlier. We do the counseling session in grade 11th and 12th. By the time the child has opted for the career, then the stream and all. Stream, why? Because of the career. Then we are giving in options that is of no use. It's very good thing you have told today that the counseling should start from earlier stages, that is from 6th and 7th grade onwards. Wonderful, sir. A lot of knowledge and experience you have, sir. That is why we have requested you to come over here. Because till now, the career counseling sessions in the schools through many universities or some other way had been happening for grade 11th and 12th only. That is now proved today that it is wrong. After you have selected the streams, then you are going for career options is absolutely wrong. Before taking the career options, you should know very well in hand what you are going to do in future. Thank you so much, Rakesh, sir. It was really a wonderful answer to the question which you gave today. Thank you so much, sir. We'll also like to know some more things, but in the later part of the session. We'll come up to the next round now. And I'll come up to Shalu ma'am, not Shalu ma'am. I'll come up to Himani ma'am first.
I think I'm yet to speak in the first round.
Yes, ma'am, you have to. Actually, you have yet to speak. You didn't spoke after second number.
Even
No
Deepika
problem.
ma'am and Bhavna.
Deepika ma'am, yeah, Deepika ma'am has also not spoken in the first round.
Okay. That is something very good, ma'am. You should raise your voice against everything. So
We all have our principals' loud voices.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We are sailing in the same boat. Bhavna ma'am, will come back to you again. I'll also like to know about in a precise that it is often seen that students are not able to decide their career, hence they select, wrong streams or in pressure of the other students.
Yes, this is absolutely right. This is what we usually see around us. And I hold opinion with Rakesh sir, who said that, yes, right from middle school onwards, we must start giving information to children. And I would say, not in as many words, the career counseling, but we must start exposing them. So in a school like ours at Amity, right from middle school, we give our children opportunities for them to realize what they are good at, what is it that interests them, what is it that keeps them spirited. So enough opportunities where they are trying hands-on to know whether they are good at public speaking. Is it tinkering that they're good at? Are they good at some kind of performing arts or visual arts? So they get to know themselves. After that, we also do some kind of interactive talks. People from different walks of life, different professions, they come and interact with the children. We have seen when an army officer comes and interacts with the children, there are many children who decide, yes, I also want to be an army officer. So those kind of exposures, a pilot coming and meeting the children, a visit to a DRDO. Recently, we organized a meeting for our children at DRDO scientists, and I'm sure many of them will aspire to be in the shoes of those scientists one day. In addition, career counseling, of course, we do. And career counseling, we do psychometric. So one-on-one counseling is done where the child's complete analysis, the psychologists are there telling him what you are good at, what are the career options that you can go for with your kind of strengths, and that helps the children immensely. In addition, this is something which I have done, which I started doing in the last 2 or 3 years. Not just understanding what you are good at, not just understanding what you are passionate about, I also ensure that my children get to know what happens when they step out into the big wide world. That means I have given them, because the lists are all available all over the internet. So this is from CNBC that we get this list. The 10 best paying professions in the world, 10 lowest paying professions in the world, 5 most regretted professions in the world. So those kind of informations I think are very important for children to know before they decide on choosing a profession, because ultimately it's not just about our children are not just learning for life, they are also learning for making a living. We have got to be pragmatic, we have got to be realistic. So our children should be aware of what kind of money to expect when they choose a certain profession. And with that knowledge, even if after knowing that it's one of the worst paying jobs, they decide to take up that profession, maybe of a special educator or whatever, good, hats off to them, all the best to them. So Aditi ma'am said that we do not know what we are going to do when we retire, or we did not know we are going to be in this profession 20 years back, 30 years back, 35 years back, we did not know. Yes, I was reading somewhere that in times to come, individuals are not going to stick with one job all through their life. Gone are those days of 1970s when our parents took up one job and stayed with that job right till they retired at 60 or 62 or whatever. We ourselves, we have been in, many of us, I was listening to you all, we were not just educators, we have donned other hats as well. So in times to come, I feel our children should be prepared for the changing times, and they should be able to adapt to the changing environment and should be able to switch over to any other kind of profession as well. Unconventional choices, somebody was talking about here, and that made me think. Our children will sometimes say that they'll come with unconventional choices. They will say that this is what I'm passionate about currently, and I want to take it up as a profession. And most of us will, as parents, we usually do not encourage those kind of choices, and we have our reasons for it. We are mostly we are coming from middle class families. We have our own insecurities, and those may be the reasons. And when our children say that I want to follow my passion, we must ask our children to ask themselves a couple of more questions. How good are you at your passion? Fine, you know your passion, that's very good. How good are you at it? You want to sing, but how many people, other people around you, feel that yes, you sing well, or are there other people who sing even better? And okay, if you want to do that, do you think you can earn enough? Is there some scope of earning money with the kind of passion that you're following? And is there only one passion that you want to follow? Or are there several things that you're good at? Or maybe 5 years back, you were something else you said was your passion. 15 years from now, you'll say something else is your passion. So we've got to ask these questions also of our children so that they do not make some very, unrealistic kind of decisions. You also spoke about what kind of courses to go for, what kind of universities, and also we were talking about how to select. I just I was thinking of this case which happened a couple of years back, and incidentally, when this meeting started, I was talking to that same friend. This friend, she asked me about her child. The child had just completed his 12th, had not got the kind of marks that the parents expected. So the child said he wanted to go in for BTech. He had done PCM, and the parents said, no, you have not got good marks. You cannot be an engineer. We want you to take up BBA. But the child knew what he wanted, and he said that I want to be an engineer. So she called me up, and I said that let the child do what he wants to do, because if he says he wants to do it, he will definitely do it. And my friend's question was, what if he's not able to do it? No problem. 1 year later, if he doesn't do well, you bring him back to whatever course you want. What is lost? Nothing at all. Many of us take a drop here because, excuse me, many of us will take a drop here. So ultimately, nothing lost at the end of the day. So this child, where the parents were still wondering whether to allow him for BTech or for BBA, this child is today working with TCS. So many a times, yes, we are guiding our children, but as one of my friends here said, we must allow the children's voices to be heard. But for children's voices to be heard, we've got to allow them to think and have their own opinions by giving them exposures to whatever is happening in the world around us. So thank you so much.
Well, that's wonderful, ma'am. It's a very wonderful topic we can talk about throughout the day, but still we have a limitation of time also. We'll come up to Deepika ma'am now. Deepika ma'am, we like to know your views in precise that there is a lot of confusion among the children that for selecting their streams. What do you feel about that?
So lots has been already said, but I always feel that students ever since I have always been on crossroads, because it's always been aspiration versus potential versus attitude versus aptitude, and unfortunately, even if I take what Mr. Rakesh said, I'll tell you when you ask a child who's in class 1, he would want to be a pilot, to the same boy in class 6 saying he wants to be a scientist, and finally he is just landing up doing a PCM because that's what his parents feel is more factual than anything else. So I feel this entire confusion can be corrected to some extent if parents are counseled.
Right.
It's time that we got parents to be counseled and let the children be free, because if I tell my child to go ahead and do his life, practical or not practical, he has to live the rest, his working 35-40 years in the same profession. why shouldn't it be something that is out of passion and out of fun of it and love of it than anything else, which unfortunately is a very small section, not just in India, across the world, but more so when we are talking about us. Well, I like to put a couple of questions to my students to come to a decision. Those questions could be, if you had all the money in the world, what would you still be wanting to do? Okay, or if you had the entire time for yourself to do whatever you want to, not recreational, I mean, they could say they watch a Netflix, but like, why not, if you had all the time in the world, what would you do? So that would help them decide that at least, this is what I feel like doing. And then another thing which I tell them is, because all of us talk about, why is IIT and IIT or a SRCC, which takes away the best, is because of its promotion of the placement in the campuses, about the hype, one crore package, 2 crore. That is what is being promoted. Nobody is really talking about 30% of those graduates are in clinical depression. That's because that's not what they wanted to do. It's what, because their parents pushed them toward, was the current trend of the times, which unfortunately is still on. So I tell them not to run after money, equip themselves with skills, and money is a byproduct. It will come. If you love what you do, it will come. I mean, I'm a student of English literature, and I did hire 3 IITians to teach my entrance students, and then fired them because I found them they were not up to the job. So, I mean, these are small things you could just do and be happy about it and be successful as well. So those are things which I tell the students, and of course, they would be confused because that's their age. Like I said, they're aspirational. Their parents have different aspirations. They might see something which is trending. Then there is peer pressure, of course, which plays the greatest role in picking up a career stream or a college. And I think that has been happening ever since, like, I was a teenage, or ever since I wanted to pick it up. But then I realized it's not about struggling. And this is what I share with them. It's not about doing maths or physics when you don't enjoy it. And I tell them also that life is not to struggle. Life is to enjoy and go smoothly along with it. So see where your interest lies. And when you talk about offbeat programs and courses, well, I am a big one to endorse it. Because I've seen one of my students being a fashion photographer and another one being a drone director in Mumbai. At the age of 28, he is doing awfully well. Those are the things that I really endorse, because that's where he is. And, I remember him helping him, he had PCM again. He couldn't do maths and physics. It was such a tough job for all of us. We just made him do some selective study, ensured that he passed, but he was very good with computers. He was very good at creating drones with papers and etc. So I feel he's got what he wanted to, and thankfully his parents understood. So that confusion is
Yes.
something which will be there, but needs to be supported. Mainly, which I see in today's world, the school supports it. We see a lot of universities coming and doing up a lot of programs in the school. We give them as much of exposure as we can, but I think the parents need to be rolled in to make a justifiable decision for the students.
You're absolutely
So
right,
once
ma'am.
that is done, I think we would come up with a better decision.
So that means that parents counseling is also needed, because as Bhavna ma'am also said that being in the middle class, the parents, but obvious that if my son is going into sciences, either engineer or doctor. So that concept is there from since the beginning. And they have a lot of expectation from the children, and that is the worst thing. And whatever we are talking about, the best example is that movie Three Idiots. They wanted to do something best, but because of being middle class or lower middle class, the parents, because of the parents, they was doing what was not of their interest. But that is very important. Now the scenario has changed. So many things have come that
Yes.
there's less, competition also. There's a less competition also. There's a lot of scope into that. That is what the parents and the children have to understand, especially the parents. Thank you so much, Deepika ma'am. I think Shalu ma'am, you had the question for the first round. I think you spoke about it. So we'll come up. Yes, ma'am. You have spoke about the first question, ma'am.
I have.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And we'll come up to the second round. We are in shortage of time, so please request you to keep your answer very precise. That is for 1 minute. I'll come up to Himani ma'am if she's there. There are other we can come for Bhavna ma'am. Himani ma'am, are you there?
Yes, yes, I'm very much here since I'm traveling, so I just switched off the camera.
No problem, ma'am. No problem. No problem. But still, you have joined us. Ma'am, your question is that we'd like to know your views on the saying that selecting a university after school is a big decision for the students and parents. What do you feel about that?
Absolutely. I feel it's a major decision of a person's life to be able to select the right university. And I feel that these days, one very good trend that I see is that universities are opening up for internships. I think that's one very good avenue for parents to send their children for these university internships and to get a taste of what a particular course would feel and look like. Even the industry is opening up for internships for students to explore that what are the kind of programs and careers they would interest in. So I think that is one area that we can all look at and encourage our students in the school, 11th and 12th graders, to look at these internship opportunities to finally figure out what interests them, whether this university is the right place for them. And then another confusion that I see amongst my students is this confusion between which course to study or which university. So, for example, I remember this instance that my student got selected in Shiv Nadar University where he wanted to go, right? But he only got mechanical engineering, which was not his area of interest, versus he got into another university which is not as reputed as Shiv Nadar, but there he got a program of his choice. So he was in two minds, that he came to me for advice and counsel that, whether I should go for university of my choice or whether I should go for the program and the course of my choice. So my advice to him was that go for the program of study, go for the course, go like many of the educationists here on the panel also endorsed that, we have to encourage children to follow their passion and not to worry too much about reputation. Then I think one very, very important criteria is the faculty, the quality of faculty. That is, I would advise my students and parents to thoroughly research the quality of faculty. How well qualified are they? And, these universities, which is not good. Bennett has excellent faculty. Mr. Rakesh would agree with me that it has some great professors and lecturers on it. So I would always suggest my students and parents to go on the website and research the faculty. Another great criteria, I think, would be campus life. Library, the quality of facilities, the residential facilities, the research opportunities, the recreational opportunities, the clubs. So what kind of campus life would my student enjoy there, and how would it enable him to become a more wholesome young person? So it's not only about academics, it's also about the other kinds of exposure that the children would have. So again, I think campus life would be another important criteria, along with some such thing. For example, career opportunities. What does the placement look like? What is the placement record of that institution? Other than that, of course, financial aid, the cost of studying at a particular place. That is again something that would be of prime importance, and needless to say, parents are already always on top of that. So we really do not need to get into that bit of selection. Then location, of course. So now the world has opened up for Indian students, especially Indian students are in great demand. Indian and Chinese students are always in great demand all over the world because they are the ones who would exert, who would work hard, who would excel, and who would also contribute to the job force of any country in the world today. So we are the people in demand. So location again has become one, big choice. So whether you would want to study,
moment, huh?
yeah, it's our moment. It's the India moment that we all are enjoying. And that is why I would say that, let's encourage children to explore. Why only in India? Why only in America? Explore all the countries in Europe and Asia
Right.
and look at what you would want to do. And of course, online work. So why to go to university if you could become a podcaster? Why? So if you can become a YouTuber like Chandok sir, and you can earn millions. I know many young people who are earning in millions at the age of 22 and 23 and are producing some amazing contents. In fact, the youngest YouTuber who is the highest earner, 5 years old, a boy who does reviews on his toys, and he's one of the most watched YouTubers, and he's already earning that we can only dream of. So I
Right.
think location no bar. So the world has opened up for students. So these are all the criteria that I think that are coming to my mind as of now.
Right.
Uh,
Thank you so
that,
much, ma'am.
thank you,
Thank
Chandu.
you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. A lot of good things you have spoke about. Although we were in shortage of time, we would have heard more from you. It's wonderful things you have talked about. We'll come up to Bhavna ma'am now. Bhavna ma'am, we will also like to know your views on the same saying selecting your university after school is a big decision for the parents as well as the students.
Thank you,
Precise
Chandok
answer,
sir,
ma'am,
for your
please.
question. What I have observed watching people around me, I've seen that infrastructure is one thing that people definitely look for when they're selecting a university. I know of somebody, there's a family of doctors that I know, and the child was preparing for medical exam, pre-medical. They had decided right from the beginning, they had made up their mind that only if they get a medical college where infrastructure is good, they will send the child. Otherwise, they'll send him to some private university. So infrastructure, definitely, it's a big concern, number one concern. Then is the placement. I myself had spoken to somebody. The child was wanting to do bachelor's in banking and insurance from a certain university. The child wanted to do this course. So now the parents wanted to know whether the child should go for this course, and they spoke to somebody who was already working with Citibank, and that person checked with their HR manager and came back and said that HR is saying it's not the name of the course that matters for us, it's the university that matters. So university, the industry is hiring from certain universities. Placement is very important. Only if the placements are being, good placements are being given at that university, I think it's a good choice. Then I think also the return on investment. Certain universities are very expensive. The cost that the children do from there, maybe 15 or 20 lakhs or whatever. Then the parents and the children should also find out, do some research on their own. It's very easily done these days on Google. Find out what is the average salary that the entry level professional will get after doing that course. So calculate in how many years are you going to recover the amount that you are spending for that course with that particular university. It's very important. But many are not going to universities for taking up a job. They're going there only for networking. So if networking is important, then of course they've got to look at the kind of universities where they're going to find people of the kind of networking arena that they are looking for. I can speak for myself. I went to Harvard for leadership training program 10 years back. But despite this gap of 10 years, I have some of the most trusted and strongest partners for all kind of collaboration on other side of the globe. So for networking also, sometimes we choose our universities. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much, ma'am. That's wonderful. We'll come up to Deepika ma'am now. Deepika ma'am, we like to know that usually decision of selecting university depends upon friends or you can say the peer. How do you justify this?
So I feel, the age group that we're talking about, which has to actually pick up a university or a program, is a most vulnerable emotionally a group. See, they have their disclosures there, they have their emotional communication there. Also, what also matters is, suppose there is a child who's academically bright, he's one kind, his opinion would really matter. Then the social media influencers and other social trends matter, and of course all this is about the same age group. So I feel that whether you like it or not, these do matter. In fact, right after 10th also, they want to pick up a stream where which their friend has taken. Finally, the university or the program, oh, so and so was top the class, has taken judiciary. So I need to, though I'm not interested, but I would like to go check it out and possibly take that. So I don't know how much I justified, but then that's the truth. That's an honest truth. It really does impact. And of course, there are exceptions to everything. There would be people and children who are very motivated, they know that what they want, or there are ones who are actually be following what their parents said. So we have a mixed kind of a group. But yes, definitely they do follow the peers, and I think most of the confidential interactions are taking place amongst the peers. So that's
Right.
is possibly the most most influential group that they have. So they follow that, and it's got both right and wrong. Maybe they do understand it after graduation. They do take up different, but at least till graduation, they're into that vulnerable age group where they follow the peers, which I
Right.
think they find it more because they find comfort, security, as well as they would like to be following that. It's like a social sort of a stigma attached to it. So they would follow that.
Right.
I,
Thank you so much.
I feel that's a fact which we all need to accept it. We need to take an entire group into it.
Now there is some internet problem with ma'am now. They become ma'am.
No, not with mine.
Okay, you are done, ma'am. You are done, ma'am. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I'm done.
And
Because
thank you
you
so much,
gave me
ma'am.
1 minute to speak, I like to stick to my
Ma'am,
precise time.
I mean, so many things we learn and we hear now. You get into that things, you get into the realities, what happens actually. So this is what I was thinking of. Thank you so
What
much,
I'm
ma'am. I'll
saying,
come
it's all socially influenced.
social influence. Absolutely right, ma'am. For that, counseling is needed, as ma'am said that it should be from the very beginning of the student, that is from grade 6 onwards. Sir said also. I will come up to Aditi ma'am now. Aditi ma'am, we'd also like to know your answer from the very same topic, that usually decisions of selecting university is based on the friends. Mera friend wahan ja raha, to main bhi wahi jata hu. What do you say about that?
Yeah, yes, somewhat. It again, I repeat that it depends on the decision-making ability and the character strength of the student. That you have seen modern times, Shirley Chaplin's. Whether you have to work, you want to work in herd, you want to work in the same herd group of, I mean, a group of student, or you want to go and prove yourself. So that is also a skill that is taught in the childhood, taking decisions. And what I mean by decision or volitional skill is that judgmented, well balanced, and with consequences, means able to judge the consequence. That is called the responsible decision making skill. That is very important to be taught during the childhood. If you can teach a child responsible decision making skill, then the child will not go astray. He'll not take drugs. He'll not take alcohol in school. He'll not do anything which is not accepted or will make his parents sad or defaced. So that is called responsible decision. And it also that following the peer, that my school, I'm very fond of this youngsters, the school going kids and the college kids. I'm very fond of them. So what I believe is that this is the influence of the parents. If my neighbor's children are going to DPS, I must send my children to DPS. If they're going to Amity, I must send my child. Who are teaching them this? We, the parents, are teaching. Okay, so this is influenced by the parents. And if the teacher, we faculty can teach, make a good moral character of these students and give them a volitional skill to choose for themselves, to stand upright, to stand up for themselves, that this is what I want. What you are saying is okay, Papa, Mummy, what you are saying that this so-and-so branded school is the best school. Yes, you believe so, but I want to go to Rishi Valley School. I want to go to Shanti Niketan. I want to go and study in Shanti Niketan, where the infrastructure is not good, but where the world is there. Okay, where I learned the best things of the life. So that is the school atmosphere that the school gives, the way to go. And selecting university versus stream, it's actually this your show and your topics are so thought-provoking. It can go on and never stopping. All right. So there are so many avenues, so many aspects, so many minds working together, thinking together, and differently also, together differently. Right. So that is where it stands. And it is not only one aspect. The students are pushing, peers are going, so I'm going. There's a multi aspects. Absolutely right. There are so many dimensions to it. It's not only, the way the child is brought up, the way the child has bought where he's got his education from, home atmosphere, the school atmosphere is bringing up, everything falls into that. Right. You won't find the children are following friends. All children are following friends. Those who have
not all of them.
Yes, those who have strong character. Yes, those who have character. That is what we are here to make, character building, to guide them right way. Parents are not teachers. Again, I say parents may have money, parents may have influence, but they are not teachers. We are the guru. We are the teachers. We have every duty to show them the right way. That is where we stand apart, and that is where we are gurus. So we tell them that you cannot follow the herd. You go and see the Charlie Chaplin Modern Times, that what it becomes if you follow the same line. So stand apart, select for yourself, stand upright for yourself. So that is what we need to teach them.
Right, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. We'll come up to Shalu ma'am now. Shalu ma'am, we would like to know your views on the same, that selecting a university for undergraduate student depends on different aspects.
So if I talk about all the points that have been so far covered, I think just two I would like to add at this point. One is we should also consider the alumni network, because when we are looking at any university, the alumni make a lot of difference, because they handhold the existing students or the passing out students to get a little more awareness about what is beyond university life. So we should also consider what is the alumni of that particular institute, where all they are, and if there are a lot of platforms through which students can connect with the alumni and find out details about a particular university or a college, and understand that how this particular institute has helped them reach a particular destination. So that, according to me, is a very important aspect that parents and students can consider. Another thing which perhaps, when we meet parents, what they are also looking at is that what are the different affiliations or rankings that a particular university has been able to achieve. There are a lot of third-party affiliations and assessments available these days, and universities do, and schools also apply for these. It's a good way of getting your processes evaluated by a person who's not part of your institute, and comes and evaluates everything, right from how you take the admissions to how you help the children in placements and all the different parameters that are there in an institute. So that is also one thing which parents can look at and consider, because it helps you understand how these affiliations have taken place. And of course, what are the scholarships that the college is offering, because it helps a parent to ease out on the financial burden. And what are the courses that are being offered, how frequently the courses are updated, and how frequently there is a collaborative exercise happening with the universities across not only in India but abroad also. So children get a glimpse of what is happening beyond their own college level. And of course, when we look at, the minute the child enters university level, we are only talking about professional establishment and the professional, jobs that the kids are going to get. That is important, of course, that is important. But I think these 3 years or 4 years really are very, very important, because just out of school, a child is now in a world which is preparing him for another journey, which is going to decide. And at this point of time, we have seen that children do change their courses, they change their universities. Sometimes after 3-4 months of getting into a college, they take a drop, prepare again, and then reapply for entrance exams. So these things happen, and at that point of time, the right guidance of the
Yes.
college professors and faculty is very, very important. So these are some of the attributes which parents can consider while they are choosing the
Right.
college for their child.
Very important things you have talked about, Shalu ma'am. And for that also, I'll come up to Rakesh sir. Rakesh sir has been seen that you are the head of alumni corporates of alumni also. So it is very new, a good thing which ma'am have talked about, that children should connect with the alumni and they should know what is the actual situation of the universities, how they are getting their placements, and how far the things are good and bad, because they are already experienced. So, sir, how do you handle that in your college, alumni?
So, in fact, I'll begin with how some very pertinent points raised, and I want to share here that when this university was being envisaged, we were very particular about that. We wanted to give Ivy League kind of setup to the students, and therefore it started with creating that infrastructure, in terms of creating those building labs, having a super computing facility on campus. We were in fact, the first university amongst the private university, or for that matter, amongst all the 1,000+ universities which exist in India, to have a supercomputing facility on campus. And then, if you look at, changing job landscape, it was very, very important to ensure that your curriculum is up to date. You teach all those tools and technologies which are relevant as of now. So therefore, Shalu ma'am spoke about, curriculum updation. In fact, incidentally, today only we were having a meeting with the TCS strategy head, and my dean of computer science was telling me that he has done 9 iterations in last 6 years in our course curriculum. The technology landscape, because of automation, advancement of technology is changing so fast, you cannot be relevant unless you update your course curriculum. Therefore, rightly pointed out by Himani ma'am also, curriculum is important. And then what is your delivery engine? When I say delivery engine, I mean the faculty. Do you have those faculties who can, really deliver those courses? Are they able to update? Are they research-oriented faculties or not? You might have passed out some 10 to 20 years back, but are you keeping yourself updated? So are those faculty development programs happening regularly on this? We have made sure that we are contemporary, and therefore we have been changing our course curriculum at a pace which probably very less universities are doing. And also we are teaching all the contemporary technology. If you look at, this kind of specialization we are offering in our various programs. Look at our computer science program, we offer 14 specialization. And apart from this, we are also, integrating tools. So suppose, for example, for a BA GMC student who is interested in filmmaking, he needs to understand what is a Filmora Go tool. He wants to go into publishing side, he should know what is Affinity. And likewise. So, and then coming to, Shalu ma'am raised a very, very important point about alumni. See, if you look at IITs and IIMs and auxiliaries, you look at auxiliary, I would call it a cartel. You go to any organization, in HR would be for an auxiliary. It's not that, they have not done well in their professional journey. Of course, they have done, but they have kind of created that platform and they're using it to, further their cause. So similarly, if you look at, our Bennett University in the last 6 years, My first batch passed out in 2020, the first big batch I would call, though our MBA batches passed out in 2018. You will find our students working across all top organizations. Go on LinkedIn, you will find students working in LinkedIn, Facebook, Google's, KPMG's, Deloitte's, EY's, name any top organization. Within a short span of a time, we have around 1,500 plus alumni as of now, and they are spread across top organizations. And also one of the very important outcomes we ensure for our students is their higher education aspirant. So for me, outcome is not only giving placement opportunity, but also, ensuring that students who are looking for higher education in top colleges, we facilitate them. And therefore, we have on-campus facility of GRE, GMAT. We want to make sure, and also we have done tie-up with almost 80 top universities in the world. So there are, extension pathway available for somebody, say, pursuing a BBA into an MBA program, or somebody looking for an MS program in top universities in the world. So all in all, universities like us and almost all universities are doing exceptional job. It's not only about Bennett University. Most of the universities are conscious about the changing environment, and they are doing their own bit. And I'm glad that, there are certain very valid points raised at this forum. And there are a lot of takeaways for me from this session today. And I think that probably at university level, but both micro and macro level, we should be looking at this to make sure that the journey of a student, Shalu ma'am spoke about journey, we ensure that 3-year, 4-year, 5-year journey which students has, he gets, ample opportunities of growth in all respects. We want holistic development. We have almost 40 plus clubs inside the campus. We have, every recreational facility. We have sports facility. So we want to ensure that when the student passes out from the campus, he is a well-rounded personality. So that's the objective.
That's
so
wonderful.
I'll take a pause here.
Yes, wonderful. And one more question I was going to ask, but already you have the question, because around 2-3 months I went to Delhi, and one of the college, that Motilal Nehru College, is in South Delhi, I think. I was being called to take a session over there. So one of the students told me that in competition I got 99 point something percentile. All the universities doors are open in India, but I want to take admission in Germany. But there my admission was rejected. Why? Because I was not having the knowledge of AI. So this is what you already told us, that so many things you're taking care of AI also, because we have to teach the students for the future 10 years ahead or 20 years ahead, and not for today. That is the most important thing, which on every school as well as university has to keep into mind. That's very important. Thank you so much, Rakesh sir. It was really very informative session. I mean, whatever knowledge you also gave to us, and a lot of discussion we had. Coming up to the last part of the session, as everybody knows that we have a me time for the last 5 minutes. And who is better to start up this me time other than Aditi ma'am? Aditi ma'am, 2-line song, and and this has become a group right now. I'll be sharing the contact details with each other for sure, because you are not very far away from each other, but still, you see, you meet your neighbors at these places only when you are at a session or some program. So I'll request Aditi ma'am to start up. We just show showstopper and start up with a song. If it is in Bengali, very good. Otherwise, Hindi, whatever you want. All choice is yours.
I'll start with 2 quotations. I'll say one is Bruce Lee's, "As you think, so you become," and the next is Rabindranath Tagore's in Bengali, "Jiboner dhon kichui jay na phela, dhulay tader joto hok obohela." Means whatever you gather in this world is all with you, all are with you. This is not that cannot go into wild dust. It is with you. So it is our duty. So spread it across. So thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you so much. It was a wonderful program. God bless you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Bhavna ma'am, your chance, ma'am.
All right. Thank you so much for this opportunity to interact with my fellow principals here. And Aditi ma'am, I was listening to your introduction and I realized we have 3 schools in common: Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan, Amity, and Vishwabharati. And to that, I have one more name, significant name added, that is GPS. I've worked in all those 3 places with you. And that I got to know here on this platform, not when I was meeting you face to face in Greater Noida.
Yes, yes. We met in your school. We met.
Yeah, we several times we met,
several
but
met.
I did not know this part about you.
Yes, yes.
So thank you, Mr. Chandok, for giving us this opportunity to know our neighbors much better.
I also had been a part of DPS, ma'am. So I had been a part of DPS also in Jaipuria also, Cherana Naam Jaipuria also, and Singhania also, as well as JGI group, Jain group of institutions also had been. So somewhere we might be common in one of the two schools, but ma'am, right now you have to sing, ma'am, Bhavna, ma'am.
Okay. उठे सबके कदम देखो रम पम पम अजी ऐसी गीत गाया करो कभी खुशी कभी गम रम पम पम हंसो और हंसाया करो थैंक यू
आजकल सब रुलाते हैं मैम, बहुत जरूरी है ये सॉन्ग, क्योंकि सबको हंसाना चाहिए। रुला तो सब लेते हैं, हंसाने वाले को ही बेस्ट कहना चाहिए। दैट्स वंडरफुल मैम। दीपिका मैम।
So I'm going to read out something from Robert Frost, one of my favorites. Some say the world will end in fire. Some say in ice. From what I've tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. But it had to perish twice. I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction of highs is also great and would suffice. Thank you. It goes for all the teachers actually.
मैम हमारे लिए तो अंग्रेजी में बोला होगा तो अच्छा ही बोला होगा मैम।
You said I sang in English last time and then you said the same thing, so I thought I'd rather do a poem which you can actually go and check it out.
Ma'am, after the tears throughout the day, there's someone to make you laugh even, ma'am. There should be someone to make you laugh even, ma'am. So that's a part of a joke. Shalu ma'am, we'll come up to you now. Thank you so much, Deepika ma'am. Aditi ma'am, you have not sung a Bengali song.
I am a very bad singer, unfortunately. No problem, can't sing much, but I would like to share two things which over a period of time I have learned from my mentors and seniors. One is that shiksha or sanskar kabhi bhi waste nahi jate. So while we are imparting education, I think it's very important that we also give good values to our students. And the other thing which I would like to share is that recently I indulged in a 7-day program which was at Haridwar, and I spent those 7 days learning all the good things that I can do to my body, mind and soul. And it is very, very important that out of our busy schedules, we spend some time understanding what our body is made up of, what is good for it and what is not good for it, because we end up stuffing so many things, like from here and from here that are not very good. So while we are talking and while we are doing our daily routines, once in a while, we all should get away from this schedule, spend some time on ourselves, come back rejuvenated, and teach the world how to lead a healthier, happier life.
So far away from madding crowd, is it?
No. And should sing 2 lines also of a song, some good song.
I'll have to think. I have not really.
If you are willing, we can sing together a Bengali song, Rabindra Sangeet. So
sure, ma'am. Himani ma'am.
Acha, all together, Himani ma'am say, and after that we'll sing a
yeah. Together. Sure, ma'am, sure. Himani ma'am.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me on the show, Chandok sir. I know it's very difficult sometimes in the evening when I'm on the road, but this session was so much worth it. I got to know so many fellow educationists, and I realized that there are so many enlightened people in the neighborhood. I have just recently shifted to Greater Noida West, and I look forward to actually meeting some of you principals in person. So please, I am pleased to extend my cordial invitation, ma'am, to my school.
Ma'am, what we'll do is, Himani ma'am, we'll take out one center where all of us will meet together. We'll find out a center at one place, or we will say Rakesh sir, or we will say you or Aditi ma'am to have a venue, and we'll all get together over here for sure. Sometime.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I extend my welcome. We can be the venue at the Millennium School. So
Yeah.
if it works for all of you, I would be very pleased to have you all at my campus.
Ma'am, what about the song, ma'am?
Thank you for the invitation.
You're most welcome, ma'am. It'll be a pleasure. I can't sing. You will regret it if you ask me to sing. And I don't really want it.
You will sing with me. You will sing with me.
Okay, Aditi ma'am, we'll join. All of us will join you, ma'am.
This is a Bengali song, and Bande Mataram is also a Bengali song, and so is Janagana Mana is also a Bengali song. So they were transferred. This is after getting inspired by Bande Mataram, the national mantra. Rabindranath Tagore wrote this song. So we'll repeat one line. I'll very slowly. You can understand the words. Bande Mataram, Bande Mataram.
Vande Mataram,
Vande Mataram.
Eko सूत्रे बाधियाछि सहस्रटी मन एक सूत्र में बाधे है सहस्र मन एको सूत्रे बाधियाछि सहस्रटी मन एको सूत्रे बाधियाछि सहस्रटी मन
We can only do Bande Mataram.
नहीं एको कार्य शोभियाछि सहस्र जीवन.
Ma'am, if you could break it, we'll be able to follow it.
अच्छा एको कार्य
2 words.
हाँ अच्छा एको कार्य
Eko kaje,
शोभियाछि
Shopiache.
सहस्र जीवन.
सहस्र
जीवन.
हमारे सारे सहस्र जीवन एक ही काम में हम सपे हैं, और वो है वंदे मातरम, वंदे मातरम,
Vande Mataram.
ठीक है.
That's wonderful, ma'am.
हम अपने एक सारे लोग एक ही काम में, अपने भारत माता की काम में और वंदे मातरम के लिए हमारे जीवन निछावर किए हैं. आशु को सहस्र बाधा बाधु को प्रलय आम्रा सहस्र पान रोहिबो निर्भय. ठीक है, सो हम निर्भय रहेंगे और हम अपने काम करेंगे. Thank you so much.
Wonderful, ma'am. Wonderful. Had a wonderful time. I hope all of you had a wonderful time. Thank you, Bhavna ma'am, Himani ma'am, Shalu ma'am, Aditi ma'am, Deepika ma'am, and Rakesh sir for joining the show. Hope to you in another season, another session very soon. Thank you so much and good night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone. Good night. Good night. Thank you, everyone. It was a great to be a part of this. Chandhok sir, again, you rock. In spite of so many, that is what आशु को सहस्र बाधा बाधु को प्रलय. जितना भी बाधाएं आए, प्रलय बांध जाए, फिर भी आम्रा सहस्र, फिर भी आपका इतना प्रॉब्लम था, then you can overcome those problems.
It is just like Shakespeare said, the show must go on.
Yes.
The show must go on. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. It was wonderful having you on the show.
Good night.
Bye, ma'am. Bye, ma'am. Good night.